Hi there. Thank you for joining us. It's a Wednesday. That means we talk matters medical with our resident GP, Dr. Vicky Skitter. Hello, Dr. Vicky.
Hello, Jeremy.
Nice to have you with us once again.
Thank you for having me.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, by the look of it. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Once again, we sit in this uncertain time, and I was hoping at some stage we could move away from discussing things about COVID, but it comes back to club us every time, and we've got to keep it relevant.
Okay.
Explain to me a little bit more about this new Delta strain that's suddenly hit us.
Okay, so the Delta strain seems to be the most prevalent at the moment. About 66% of our tests come back, and it's the Delta strain apparently. That strain is from India, and it is a much more, dangerous, maybe call it, it's much more contagious than the alpha, beta, or gamma strain. So, and you can also get COVID for the second time with this Delta strain.
Okay.
Well, I've seen it. So people that's had COVID before April this year might very well get this strain.
Okay.
Which is important to know because, once again, we need to be vigilant.
This particular disease seems to be developing at an incredibly fast rate, isn't it?
Yes, so it's a clever virus, obviously, and if it's so much more contagious than the first time, we are in a bit more trouble because our numbers show it as well. It's always worrying to see the numbers, but this is where the vaccine comes in. I suppose people are worried to know, how effective is the vaccine against this Delta strain?
Well, let's pose the question then. I mean, sorry to put you on the spot, but
so we talk about the Pfizer vaccine because that's what we're getting at the moment. So the effectiveness after the first dose is about 33%, where previously it was about 49% effective. So that's a bit scary, but still not necessarily bad news.
Yeah.
And then after the second dose, it's said to be 88% effective versus the 93% of the beta strain, I think, or the first strain.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean you won't get it. Hopefully it will just make the disease less severe. So they also say after 2 doses of the Pfizer vaccine, it should reduce hospitalization after the first dose by 94%, and the second dose 96%. So it's a good vaccine.
Okay.
It's just the disease is so much more contagious, basically, that we've got so many more numbers and therefore more hospitalizations. And,
yeah.
And
so you're almost taking one step forward, 2 steps back, because although as the vaccination process rolls out, you're getting more people vaccinated.
Yeah.
But the strain is hitting that many more people, so they sort of equal out.
Yeah. So we must just be, we must know what to do and register and go for the vaccine.
Well, let's bring Lizette Kruger in at this stage. She is with Dis-Chem Pharmacies. Lizette, thank you very much for taking time to join us on Mansfield today. Firstly, are people registering? Secondly, your CEO last week released a very scary statistic. Something like up to 70% of the people who are registering at a Dis-Chem for the jab are becoming no-shows. That's scary.
That is very scary. So we started with a bang the 17th of May. And our no-shows was around about 30%. So you can clearly see that the people registered on the VDS and they're scheduled to that specific site, but then they don't pitch. But I mean, 30% is fine because we just up our capacity. Unfortunately, the last 2 weeks throughout our sites in South Africa, we're down to 70% or up to 70% of no-shows. So you can see that they registered, but they don't come for the vaccine.
Is
And
there
I
any
want to
reason behind
reinteract.
this?
So the thing is, you on the system you have to see if they redeemed their voucher at another site. So it's just said, it's obviously saying issued. So you cannot see that they had their vaccine on another site. So actually they didn't. If it's not on the system, it's not done. And then I mean, obviously, with the numbers that we've got in South Africa and in Gauteng specifically, I mean, probably some of them got COVID. And then some of them are probably just too scared to get out because they're scared to say they will actually get the virus at the vaccine sites. But in saying and going back to the Delta, mutated virus that you just talked about, I mean, if you really look at the numbers in terms of the efficacy of the Pfizer vaccine, yes, it is lower. But if you look at a vaccine, it's important to look at the fatalities in the hospitalization. So it's like the flu vaccine. You never will not get flu if you get the flu vaccine. But at least if you get the vaccine, you won't get that sick and there won't be any fatalities. And in terms of the Pfizer vaccine, it's still a good coverage, not for fatalities and going into hospital. So it's now actually time to get the vaccine if you can. If you're eligible, you must get the vaccine. That's basically what we say.
Well, from 15 July, the 50s and overs can start getting their jabs if they're registered. Um, one of the reasons, and this was an argument we were having. Well, no, I mustn't say argument, a discussion, which became an argument. Was that a lot of people who are over 60 are also Googling COVID vaccines and all the rest of it. And the algorithms that are used by these sort of search engines start pointing towards certain things. And if you get stuck in a rut which says the vaccine's not good for you, that's all that's going to start showing up on your searches for it. And they don't understand, maybe because they're not as tech savvy as younger people, those sort of aspects, and they get caught up in this hype.
No, that's so true. That is very true. And I always tell the patients, if they ask, I say, well, if you Google for the earth to be flat, you will get that as well. So we always say, please do not look at Google. And if you look at Google, see that it's a reputable and a clinical trial link. There must be a clinical trial link. And not just any clinical trial, there must be a number, and the number must be linked to a specific clinical trial. And rather look at a clinical trial within South Africa. I know that the last trial was from UK, but I mean, we do have some information from South Africa with the Delta mutated virus. So, and we always say, please don't look at social media because people love sensation. And unfortunately, most of the over 60s is at home and not at work if they're still working, or they're a pensioner. And that's what they do. They listen to all the stories and they drink tea and they listen to all the social media that comes from the grandchildren and the children. So it's so difficult. I wish I can scrap social media just for 6 months so we can get people vaccinated. I mean, oh my goodness. So we always have a joke now. If you get the vaccine, say, okay, my tail is already growing, but it's fine. I don't have COVID at least. So, but I mean, yes, I don't know how more information we can get through to people to say, listen, I mean, in the Pfizer vaccine specifically, and I'm not shooting down any other vaccine. Please don't misunderstand me, but we're dealing with the Pfizer vaccine now in our facilities, but it's really a safe vaccine. There's almost no contraindication to get the Pfizer vaccine because there's still people that think, well, if I've got a clotting issue and I had a DVT, that you can't get the Pfizer vaccine. So, like I said, I wish I can put off social media and Google for 6 months, so we can just get people vaccinated.
Yes, you can hear the frustration
Yeah,
they're
I
coming through.
understand that, absolutely.
You were saying that a fair amount of your patients are confused as to how they go about this process.
Yes, it would be nice if you can maybe just tell us what's the easiest way to register, especially now that the over 50s can also go.
Yeah, so the over 50s is opening from the 1st of July. So that's most probably the most important thing is everybody must register on EBDS if you are on that age group where they can start vaccinating. So at this stage, it's only over 60s. The healthcare workers, there's another portal that they can register on, and it's V4 healthcare worker, and it's all abbreviations. That's V4 HCW. They can register on that portal if they've got a professional number like the SANC number or Pharmacy Council number or CSA number. And then from the 1st of July, all the over 50s can register on the EBDS self-registration portal. This scheme makes it a little bit, try to assist a bit more. If you go to the website, you can actually go into the COVID vaccine, and we will guide you to the EBDS as well. And then you can also see which sites are, active in terms of vaccination. So you have to register with the EBDS. There's no other way. If you're not registered with the EBDS, we cannot do the vaccine. We will help people at the vaccine site to register if they're not registered. That's the one thing that everybody needs to understand. If you fall within the age category, which I would like to open, but I didn't say it out loud.
Lizette, thank you very much for your input into Mansfield today. Thank you for joining us. Lizette Kruger.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Lizette Kruger from Dischem. Yeah, to me, and I think you've said it before so many times, inject, inject, inject.
Absolutely. Now you must just go out and have your injection. Seriously.
How many you've obviously had your first one.
The healthcare workers up to now, I think, had the J&J, Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
So we all study on our own. We're busy with the study on us. But I think the Pfizer has got more studies behind it. We know a bit more about it. So go and get your vaccine, please.
So there's Dr. Vicky, our resident guinea pig. Yeah.
I'm still here.
And we're very glad about that. Dr. Vicky Schutte, thank you very much for joining us once again.
It was nice.
And thank you for bringing some of the clarification around the Delta virus and also the vaccinations. And we'll keep you as up to date as we can. And where we can find a gap, we'll try and take a look at other aspects medical. But right now, this is still top and center of mind, the COVID virus. Keep safe, keep your distance, keep your mask on, go home. Safest place to be. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, cheery bye.